There you go.
Okay, there we are. Hi, welcome to our first official podcast, all about weddings. The idea is to help couples on their journey to their big day, and we're going to do that by interviewing and chatting to the people that make it all happen, the suppliers. We're going to be talking to every sector. Today we got Julian from Fulton Photography. We've got DJs, we've got wedding planners, we've got the registrars. So over the next year, this should become a real valuable resource for all of you, on your journey, hopefully making things just that little bit easier. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Julian Fulton from Fulton Photography. And if we get straight into it, we'll ask you to tell us about your journey. So I was quite fascinated chatting to you this afternoon, where we were talking about your career in the RAF, and I was fascinated to think how did you go from RAF to photographer?
Uh, yeah, it was quite a long journey. It was basically I came out of the RAF after doing my time in there, moved back down to Wales, and one of my friends who was doing wedding photography come into my house to see the portrait I'd done of my son on the wall, just messing around, and asked me to join him really. And it all started from there, just going out on a few weddings with him as a second shooter, and just progressed on from there. And I thought, oh, great, extra income for me coming in. I haven't got much responsibility as a second shooter, and just built it up from there really until I got the nerve to do one of my own.
We were talking earlier about how nerve-wracking it is. We used to have a school for naughty children. We taught photography, and somebody asked me to do a wedding. It was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done. Technology, I'd like to think, has improved, but you were saying you had that similar feeling. You were talking about when it was all film. That must have been a nightmare.
It was all film. I started off on shooting 120 film, so I had 12 shots per back on my Hasselblad to shoot. I wasn't shooting 35 mil. And I think I done 90 odd shots, between 80 shots to 90 shots for a wedding. But it's always the 4 days of stomach churning scariness, really, while putting that film in to get developed. Because you never know if you had bought a dodgy film, or if you put it on wrong, or if there was any light getting into the back of it. So yeah, it was nerve wracking.
You say about 80 shots. What would you shoot now? What's an average number of shots?
Too many. Too many now, I think. Digital's great. It gives you that opportunity to see what you're shooting, and sometimes get carried away. And you've got that a lot of choice you can give the couples as well by shooting too much, and a lot of repetition sometimes.
I'm guessing the editing must take ages going through them. Have you got? We talked about AI and how that's changing things, but you were saying that it's not as reliable as you doing it.
No, it's AI is great. You've got aftershoot and various other programs, and that's brilliant. And it can go through and it can cull your images down. But you've still got to go back through again to look through to see what images they've taken out, because it could be some that the bride or the groom's just looking down, and that's classed as with the AI programs, depending on how you program it, as if the eyes are shut, but it's a shot I would want to use. So you've still got to go through and cull them, so it doesn't take everything away.
How long does it typically take you to edit a wedding?
The way I do it is slightly different. I don't really edit a wedding.
Okay.
I might get shot for doing this, but when I speak to couples, and and because I got my own studio as well, I shoot families and dogs and other shoots. I found speaking to couples, whether it be grandparents or families, they would never pick the ones that I would like. Oh, do you know what? That's stunning. They'd always pick the ones that I didn't like all the time. Grandparents would pick ones where the grandchild are crying. They would pick other ones where the child has pulled a certain face because they knew that grandchild or their child, and that's how they were. And I captured how they were, but it's something that I wouldn't pick. So I portrayed that over to weddings. So I basically everything I shoot on the day, I don't edit. I put in a folder in for their wedding online, so they can pick what they want. So they can go through them. They pick what they want, and I edit the photographs that they pick. Then
That they
and that
choose.
way,
That's a really good way of doing it. Yeah, yeah.
and that way, then they pick exactly what photographs they want to go to their wedding album.
Because it is subjective, isn't it? It's what you know.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
You could have the best creative shot that you're so proud of. It's not what they're looking for.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm basically trying to give them what they want. It's their wedding album at the end of the day. They're going to be looking at that for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the line. They're going to have something that they're going to cherish. And they're going to know, you know what? This is what I wanted.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting. I wonder if we could talk about the actual day. What a typical day is, and the lead up to it. We were talking about pre-wedding shoots, pre visits to the venue, and then a typical day. How does your timeline normally work? I appreciate different packages, but generally speaking,
Yeah, well, I offer a pre-wedding shoot, which is more of a casual shoot for the couples. So you can go out somewhere and just do a normal shoot, just a casual shoot. So the couples get to know me, I get to know them. I get to know their quirks, what they like, what they don't like. Um, and then we go through some simple things that we would do on the wedding day, as in poses, what they like.
so we've lost you again, Julian. Could you redial in? Hopefully, you can hear me. There we are, back again. Sorry about that, Julian. Do carry on.
It's okay. You can blank me out if you want.
Technology. See, it's okay. Imagine this was on a shoot in a wedding. What would you do? You'd have 6 cameras spares, I guess.
I do.
Yeah,
With several backups with loads of battery. So yeah, it is
you got it, haven't you? Yeah.
backup city, I think. I come out and it's bad enough for me walking around with 2 cameras by either side of me taking
Yeah.
shots, but yeah, the other ones are safely away in the box.
So you get to the day, you meet the couple in. Do you usually do prep and meet them at the house and then travel to the ceremony?
Yeah, or depending on it's either at the house or if they're one of the venues and we've got a room there, I go to the venue and do the bridal prep there.
Yeah.
Sometimes the groom's not always in the same venue, so they're somewhere else. I've either got a second shooter with me if the couple
To cover that, yeah.
to cover that. Sometimes 9 times out of 10 the grooms don't. So I organise a time for them to come before they speak to the registrar to do some shots with the groom, the best man, and the groomsman, and then just go back and forth and work between themselves and the bride. And then I shoot all the way through the service. And then after the service is when the fun starts.
How do you cope with? So we have some really nervous couples that don't like being the centre of attention at all. They still want the photographs, I guess, but they don't like having them taken. So you've got to, I guess, work really hard to build their confidence. Is that a problem for you?
Sometimes talking to them and just relaxing throughout the day, to be honest with you. And this is where the casual shoot beforehand, comes
Helps.
very
Yeah.
handy because they know you. So you're not a stranger, and you can start conversations with them. And as you're having a conversation with them, they get more relaxed. They let their guard down a little bit more, and you can snap away without them kind of realizing. And just bringing up some joke with them and just have a normal conversation.
You get some requests. We see it with different couples that what style of photography they want. Some the documentary style where they're not posing and you're just snapping away casually. Do you get many of those requests?
I do. That to me, that puts a lot more work on not just for the photographer, but I think that puts a lot more work on the couples because they've always got to constantly be doing something. So they're not going to be relaxed. They're always going to be photographed. You've got the guests that are constantly photographed, so they've got to constantly be doing something. So they either end up, if they're not doing anything, but they're sat down talking to people, they're going to get a load of photographs of just them talking to people.
Yeah.
When they see the photographs, from my point of view, I think, and I could be wrong on this, and someone could tell me, when they see couples holding hands running down steps or the bride's running down the road, now they look at them as being, oh, you've captured the day, you've captured what they're doing. But they've got to realise those moments have been set up. What the photographer's doing is capturing the natural element of that just before you set that out. So it's still a setup shot. You've got the natural flow coming through then.
Mm. You mentioned registrars. So I know that's a concern that we as a venue have got, and couples have struggled with it sometimes. There's lots of rules and regulations. I know one, you can't take a photograph of the book being signed. Can you? Have you got any thoughts on what the couples can prepare for, or what they should expect?
I think that depends on the registrars as well, Mike. Some of them are really good, and since the new, it's not signing the registry
Digital,
anymore.
isn't it? Yeah,
It's a schedule, so it's a
yeah.
piece of paper. So what they were concerned with years ago was other people's details. But if they've got big muck of flowers in front of the book and you're down low, you're not going to see anything.
I'm going to say, yeah.
So some registrars do still stick to, and some places, some areas do stick to you can't take any photographs during the signing, which is really sad, really, because you miss some of the emotions that the couples have got while they're talking to each other. They have a quick kiss, which you can't recreate later. But I think it's mainly in this country that stood, because I was over in Galway years ago doing a wedding, and it was literally like an episode out of Father Ted. And there was 3 priests in there, and I could have swung from the chandeliers if I wanted.
They wouldn't have minded.
No, you wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
I said, do you mind if I take photographs while they're saying the registry book? And he just looked at me funny, saying, "What are you talking about? Of course you can." So I think it's just in this, and
It's probably the legislation that they're bound by, I guess, because we have a great relationship with the registrars, and sometimes they I think they are stuck with what they can and can't do. But I guess it must be frustrating for some of you. But
well,
yeah,
if they got big flowers in front of the book and you duck down, you're not going to see anything.
you're not going to see it. Yeah, yeah. Do you have conversations with the registrars of what they'll allow them? Yeah.
And that's before, and so soon they've spoken to the groom once they've left.
Yeah.
And the ones in this area around here are brilliant anyway.
Yeah, we have a great relationship with them. But yeah, we did have an adventure last week where one of our brides was a little bit inebriated, and that could have cost us the wedding. They had to sober up before.
I've had one. It was in Caerphilly way,
Yeah,
that way, where I was shooting bridal prep, and this was 10:30 in the morning. And when I was shooting that, the groom and the best man turned up in the limo. So I heard, like, give me 5 minutes, I'll be back up now. I'm just going to get some photographs of the groom. So as I come down through the door, the bride was up in the window watching them. The driver opened the door, and both the groom and the best man fell out,
Sell out.
completely drunk, out their trolleys. So we were about 45 minutes to an hour, food and coffee, to the point to do their shots. I literally had to lean them up against a tree, just to do. Yeah, so that was quite
did
interesting.
they got past the registrars? Okay,
They did get past the
yeah,
registrars. It was all the coffee and
they
yeah,
sobered up.
yeah.
So next thing that always it must worry you and the couples. They put all this planning into the big day, and they booked a summer wedding, and they're expecting the beautiful sunshine and the sunsets, and it's hammering down with rain. What do you do?
Bring out the lights from the umbrellas.
You said it almost becomes a studio
Yeah,
shoot then, yeah.
it turns into a studio shoot unless for and then smaller groups, because big group shot then is kind of out of mind. You just pick in immediate family and smaller group friends and everything else, and then it just depends then on the bride and groom. If they're happy to go out and do some shots in the rain, I'm happy. I'll go out there and stand out in the rain all day and photograph them. There was a couple I did a couple of weeks ago, and the weather was quite bad, but they got their venue and they wanted specific shots in a specific garden, and they were determined. They brought their wellies just in case,
They were going to do it, yeah.
umbrellas. They were going to go down there and they were going to do the shoot. So to be honest with you, I don't mind. I'll shoot in the rain. I'll shoot in thunder. If they're happy to go down there, I'm happy to go off and do the shots.
Yeah, yeah. I just wonder what your advice would be if we've got anybody listening that hasn't booked their venue yet. Would you? I've done a little video for first viewings, just suggesting that you ask about wet weather contingency. What areas have you got to work with? I don't think it's a bad idea to ask your prospective venues to show you where. Do you think couples should do that? Oh, we've crashed again. I'm going to knock you off and bring you back in. Just carry on talking for a minute. We've got a problem with the technology, but hopefully, there we are. We're back. Sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know
no,
whether you heard that.
yeah, I did. Yeah, I think it's one of those areas that couples don't really look into. They look at the venue. If they fall in love with it, that's where they get married. I think looking at where they're going to have photographs taken isn't really in their um, radar at that point. They're just looking at, is this where we want to get married? And it's not until either the photographer brings it up, or they thinking, or they think, where are we going to have photographs done? But I think they leave that up to the photographer, as many couples do, turn around and say, well, it is your job. And they're right.
Yeah.
It's not their responsibility. It's up to the photographer to create the shot. It's up to the photographer to work out, right, if the weather's bad, where are you going to do the
What are we
shot?
going to do? So this would be where your pre-visit would come in. I guess the venues you do regularly, you know what you're going to do, but
Yeah, but
Mm.
always, if I haven't been to a venue, I'll always go there a couple of weeks before I speak with a couple, just to scope it out and
Yeah.
see what I can do shots, see what equipment I'll bring on the day as well.
Yeah.
You gotta include all the lighting that you need to do. You can't just turn up with your camera and hope for the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put some of your photos up. Your contact information is down the bottom there. So while we're talking, I'm just going to put you up I'm just going through a selection of your photos. You've got a lovely couple in there. I don't know where that is. It's a lovely looking setting. So, tips and tricks. What would you say your top tip for couples?
Ooh, crikey. As in venue-wise, as in booking your wedding, as in booking your photographer.
I thought this feature might be nice. Just anything that you've come across that. I'll give you an example. I did mention this earlier. The registrars usually say uh, no photographs during the ceremony. Can you keep your
Yeah,
phones still away? But then they're married and they're walking down the aisle, and everybody's got their phones out, and the photographers find it really difficult to get that good shot. I hadn't thought of that, but um, is that something that the couple should tell them before they tell their guests?
yes, and well, yes, and the Red Stars do it, in this area all the time. But I think going on that note, maybe my best tip for the couples are remember the wedding is about you and not your guests, and that day is yours and nobody else's. So don't get stressed out about you accommodating for everyone else when they should be accommodating for you. Really,
Yeah,
I see a lot of that. They're all thinking about what they should get for the guests, what stuff they should put on for the guests. If we're leaving the guests, can't leave them alone, and they're concentrating more on them than they are on themselves.
yeah, yeah. Um, just another photo. I think that's a nice. I guessing that's Canada Lakes. Have you done? Would that be one of your Canada? You can't see that, can you? But
No, I can't see any of them.
have you done Canada Lakes? That looks.
Yes, and I'm there again on Sunday.
There you go. Yeah, it's a lovely photograph, bride standing in front of the lake. So yeah, I'll keep these up. So I'm just going to wrap it up. Thanks ever so much for coming along, Julian. Your contact details are there if anybody is interested in booking you. I'm sure you'd be happy to take that phone call.
Yeah,
This is live now, so feel free to share the link with all your prospective customers, and maybe we can come back on again and talk about something else in the future. Um, and hopefully see you at Ridgeway soon. I know the Ridgeway team love having you there, and you were recommended for this podcast. So
oh, thank
that's
you. I love coming
yeah,
down there. There's all so many nice nooks and crannies you can do photographs in down there.
yeah.
It's
It's
always surprising.
we love it. So without ado, I'll say goodbye to you. Good night. Wish you all the best for the future, and just remind everybody. I'm just going to put the barcode up. We're going to do one of these every week, if not more. And if you like it and think it would be useful, please consider subscribing. Without further ado, I'll wish you all good night. Have a wonderful week. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Cheers, Julian.
Cheers. No problem.